Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and today we're going to continue on with a week-long bunch of red dot sight and rifle scope reviews. Today we're going to review the Pinty 3 to 9 by 42 tactical scope. It's got a mil dot reticle, it's got a 30mm tube, and of course a 42mm objective lens. And this one is kind of unusual in that it has the little illumination adjustment on the side of it instead of the back like most of them, and I guess that could come in handy. And it also I think only illuminates the little dot right in the center of the crosshairs. That's also a little bit of difference, but I can see where that might be an improvement on lighting up the whole crosshair. We'll see once we get into the thing. And I'm going to change my review a little bit. I'm going to sort of copy some of Mr. Joe Ray's methods. He's got a channel called Cyclops. He reviews lots of scopes, and he knows all about air rifles, which is something I don't know anything about for sure. And I think that the way he does it's pretty good, so I'm just going to copy it, you know, at least some of it. And some of it will be my usual flavor of review. So let's get on with this thing and open up the box and see what we've got. Alright, I'm going to try to stay out of the light and keep from getting the scope off camera. It's not packed away pretty nice here like most of them are. A plastic bag, comes with a manual, a battery for the illumination, and a nice lens wiper. And I'll have to honestly say I don't know if I've ever seen anybody use one of these lens wipers, but it's a good thing to have, especially if you're a guy that uses them. In this little box here we've got the scope rings, which is a nice touch. It seems like most all the Chinese scopes come with scope rings, and that saves you a whole lot of trouble, believe me. I've tried to find scope rings that would fit something that I bought that didn't come with them, and it was a real nuisance, you know. Alright, so let's take it out of the plastic bag. Got flip up lens covers, naturally on each end. It's got a battery compartment right here on the side for the illumination. One of the things I like about these included scope rings is the little coating they put on the inside of them to increase the grip. I've heard that criticized, but I don't know. I can't see how it would be a bad thing. It looks like a good thing to me. Okay, you may notice that I switched out from my Scary Black rifle to my Savage 223, and I did that because these scope rings are shorter than the most of them that come on these scopes, and the objective lens was touching the rail. As you can see there, it's very close to the rail right there. I need to check and make sure that it's not touching there. Alright, as you can see, it's not touching the rail there, it's just very close. But one of the good things about it is I can use my different system here. It's the Barska bore sighter. I can't use it on the tall scope rings, but I can use it on the short ones. So that's what we're going to sight this thing in with, and then I'll give you a view down the barrel to down the scope to see what I see. All right, I'll go ahead and get started with sighting it in, and then I'll show you what there is to see. Okay, so we're zoomed in here on the Barska bore sighter, and the crosshairs of the rifle are evenly aligned with the crosshairs of the little grid in the bore sighter. Let me back it up a little bit here, maybe lower magnification, and you can see the grid. This has been previously for me the most accurate bore sighter, get me almost dead on from the beginning. Only you have to have shorter scope rings to use this thing. It's not tall enough to work with the tall scope rings at all, but this works quite well. I'm sure there must be more to their systems. It surely is not limited to short scope rings, but that doesn't have any bearing on this particular rifle. Do you see the red dot in the middle of the crosshairs there? That's the lighted part of the reticle, and it goes from green or red. Hard for me to, there's the green. And I think this probably would interfere with your vision at night much less than having the entire reticle light up. But that's adjusted by this ring on the side here. I'm zoomed in way too close for that. But this is to adjust choose how bright you want that little dot and whether you want red or green. This is your elevation adjustment, and this is your windage adjustment over here on this side. Windage, elevation. And back here is your adjustment for your magnification. I've zoomed it in pretty heavy for that Barska boresighter, but seems to move really nice and smooth, and it's tight. So I suppose the next thing to do is to try to set up a test outside. I'm probably not going to take this to the range because yesterday I went and the only range that wasn't in underwater was the 22 range, and this is a centerfire rifle and has to go to a different range, so I think we'll be having to skip that part. Alright, for this little part of the review, I've got a target hanging on the fence over there. The target may or may not be square with the world, and the fence boards are most definitely not going to be square with the world. I was the guy that built the fence, and I did that without any consideration for whether they were perfectly straight up and down or not. Mainly I was sloshing through mud just getting the job done. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look through the scope, and then we'll start playing with the adjustments. Alright, so the glass is nice and clear. We can see that we're pointing at the bullseye a little bit to the right, maybe a little high, because my $20 gun rest here is not all that grand. But we'll zoom in on it and see if we can keep the same point of focus there. We're going to try to zoom the scope and see if it maintains the same point of aim. And I really can't see anything in this stupid viewfinder. It's too bright here, and wherever it's pointing, we'll see if it's still pointing there when we get in close. Do remember that this is a $20 gun rest, so it's shaky. Alright, I'm going to do it by eye while I watch it. It appears to keep the target. I don't know how good it did through the camera, but with me putting my eye up to the scope and holding the rifle as still as I can, it appears that zooming in and out we're still on the target. Now, one of the things that Mr. Ray does is he will start out with the rifle on the bullseye, and he will take the windage adjustment and move over 5 clicks. Then he'll move down 10 clicks with the elevation, take the windage and move it over 10 clicks the other direction, and then 10 clicks up, and then 5 clicks back to the right to sort of make a square. Okay, so we're going to test the magnification by looking at that chimney 2 houses down, and we'll do it on full magnification, and then we'll zoom back from it. And I'm going to count on you guys to see the thing for me, because out here in the light I can't see much at all in the viewfinder. That's zoomed out to the max. That's 9 power. We'll start coming in with it. That's down to 3 power. So I would say this is perfect for squirrel hunting, definitely at 50 yards, because I'm sure that chimney down there is at least 50 yards away. So there you have that, and the glass is clear out at the maximum focus, and it's clear up close and in between. No problems with that. All right, I think this is about the end of the outdoor stuff. All right, so let's summarize the particulars here, the specifications. This is the Pinty 3-9x42 glass-etched tactical rifle scope. It says mil dot, but I didn't see any mil dots. I see a target reticle, which is comes down to almost to the center, and then there's a dot in the middle of it. And I think it's probably a really good reticle for hunting and such things. The objective lens is 42 millimeters. The magnification is 3 to 9 times. The field of view at 100 yards is 14.7 foot. Eye relief is 3.3 inches. The tube diameter is 30 millimeter. And overall length is 12.1 inches. It weighs 1 kilogram, which is I think a half a pound. The click value on the windage and elevation adjustments is a 1/4 MOA. I think the glass showed to be very nice and clear. The zoom adjustment is nice and smooth, and it's tight. And overall the scope appears to be well put together. I didn't put it in a cement mixer to let it rattle around or throw it under 6 foot of water or throw it across the yard or anything. But I would assume it'll probably hold up as good as any other scope in its price range. I normally use them all on a 22 rifle, although I do have a 223 and the 45 carbine that I use these scopes on, and so far I haven't had one suffer any damage from being fired. And that's, you know, your general run-of-the-mill low price scopes. So I'm pretty confident this scope will hold up to normal use. Throw it down the side, a flight of stairs or something might cause a difference. But then again, when you abuse stuff, you expect to get damage. Alright folks, that's about all I can say for this review. I'll put a link down below in the little description box, and if you want to buy one of these scopes, that'll help you find it. Okay, and that's it. No Bubba joke today. Too many reviews and not enough Bubba jokes. Appreciate y'all viewing. Well, that's all folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.